So we should be looking at your chapter 4 notes, 4.4, the purple notes. And we're going to talk about inequalities. And we talked about this with your vocabulary already. But with an inequality, that's our first blank, an inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares expressions. It can contain symbols. It can contain the less than, the greater than, less than, equal to, or greater than, equal to symbol. We also have certain key words and key phrases that let us know what symbol to use and what we're talking about. You're pretty familiar with the first two keywords, those that are talking about the less than and the greater than words. You know those things. If I said the amount is over 3, that would be greater. If I said the amount is fewer than, you would say less than. Where it gets a little murky and a little bit more new to you guys is when we're talking about the words from the greater than and less than columns. Okay, those get a little more confusing. 2 words I want to add to this list that aren't here but they are on your green sheet are maximum and minimum. If you get on an elevator, you'll see a little sticker and it says maximum weight capacity, 1,200 pounds. Okay? What does maximum mean?
It can only hold so much.
It can only hold that much. So if the maximum weight capacity is 1,200 pounds, can you go over 1,200?
No.
Can you be exactly 1,200?
Yes.
Yes. Can you be under it?
Yes.
Yes. So if you could be exactly it and under, what sign would that be?
Greater than or less than?
Less than or equal to. If I can be at it or under it, it would be less than or equal to. So maximum falls under the less than or equal to. You also have the word minimum. You have to have a minimum of 10 AR points each 9 weeks. What does that mean? If you have to have a minimum of 10 AR points.
You have to have that or higher.
That or higher. So what symbol goes with minimum?
The greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to. Okay? So we can take those key words, identify them in a word sentence, and change it to a number sentence, like here in this example 1. It says a number q plus 5 is less than or equal to -7 and 9/10. Well, wherever I see the word is, that's going to be, my symbol word is going to be attached to it. You can almost split it right there. Is less than. What symbol is going to be with is less than?
Or equal to.
Or is less than or equal to. What symbol is going to be that?
It's going to be the less than.
So less than or equal to symbol. So less than or equal to. Before the is or before the symbol, we have a number q plus 5. What does a number q mean? It's a variable. Do we know how much q is worth? No. So it's just saying a number q, or just saying q plus 5. Well, what's plus 5? That plus means to add 5. So when I rewrite this, I have q plus 5 is less than or equal to -7.9. So you're basically just rewriting it using number and symbols instead of words, is all it's wanting you to do. So you have to know those keyword phrases in order to be able to identify the correct symbol. So looking at try it number 1. It says a number is at least -10. If I come to that is and chop it, I have a number x. Well, what does a number x represent? Just x. At least is what symbol?
The less than or equal to.
I would look at my chart before I just start saying things. What is it, Lily? Greater than or equal to. You must be at least 48 inches to ride this ride. What does that mean? I can be that tall or taller. Can I be under? No, or they're not going to let you ride it because it's not safe. So at least is greater than or equal to -10. Everybody good on that one? All right. Number 2, twice a number y is more than -5/2. So I'm going to splice it where the is, and that's going to separate it into the two expressions. Twice a number y. What's important in there? Twice. What does twice mean? Times 2. I'm going to ride this ride twice. How many times am I going to ride it? 2 times. So twice means 2 times. 2 times what? Y. So I can write this as 2y. 2y is more than. What symbol goes with is more than? Greater than sign. Is it the equal to part as well? No. -5/2. Alright, it's pretty straight to the point if you know those words. So looking at number 12, what's your symbol words in number 12? Is no more than. So is not more than. More than is what? Think about it for a second. More than. If the number's more than, what is it?
It's less than.
Right. Listen to my question. If the number is more than, it has to be greater. But because it has this no or this not, it's like it's not greater than. So if it's not greater than, it has to be less than or equal to. So y is less than or equal to -8. You have to stop and think about them. You can't just whatever you want to do right off the bat. You've got to take a minute and think. Number 13, a number w added to 2 3/10 is more than 18. What's your keywords for your symbol?
Is more than.
Is more than. I'm going to check my chart up top. What does that go with? What sign is more than? Greater than. Represents greater than. So, greater than 18. How am I going to write this part of the phrase? W plus 2 3/10. Number 14. A number t multiplied by -4 is at least -2/5. Is at least is our key symbol word. Blaine, what sign goes with is at least? Don't just guess unless you know it. Look up at the top of the chart on your paper. Is at least, Kaylee? Huh? The minimum one, which is what? What sign? Marvion? Greater than or equal to. If I come up here to my chart, do you see where it says is at least? Is at least is the greater than or equal to sign. Okay? So it means greater than or equal to. A number t multiplied by negative 4. How are we going to write a number t multiplied by negative 4? How are we going to write that? Negative 4t. Number 15. A number b minus 4 and 2/10 is less than negative 7 and 5/10. What's your symbol words there, Camden? Is less than. That one's pretty straightforward. What's the sign going to be? What is this symbol going to be? Less than. And we're going to have b minus 4 and 2/10. Number 16. What's your symbol keywords back there? Or in that one? Mackenzie? Alright, what symbol, what inequality symbol goes with is no less than? Because if I look at less than, it's going to be the less than symbol, right? But it says no less than, so it means like not less than. So if it's not less than, it has to be greater than or equal to. So negative 5/9 is greater than or equal to 5 times k. Y'all are going to have to actually study the keywords and the phrases. You're going to have to make flashcards. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to test yourself. This one little short session of teaching, you do not have these memorized. That green sheet, you need to have all those keywords memorized on that key sheet with what symbol they go with. And you should know them like that. You're going to have to put in a little bit of effort this chapter to learn those. And if you go ahead and learn them now, then you'll have them the rest of your school career, because they're going to reteach this every year. And it's going to be way easier if you just go ahead and learn it now. Alright, so with inequalities, we have answers. We call those answers a solution. And the cool thing about an inequality is there's multiple answers. Think about x greater than 3. How many numbers are greater than 3? A whole lot, right? It's actually an infinite amount. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Whereas in an equation, if x equals 3, x can only be 3. That's the difference between an inequality and an equation. An equation has one answer, whereas an equality has multiple answers, and we call those multiple answers a solution set, or a set of solutions. It's like a group of answers, is basically what it means. And we can test to see if a number is actually a solution or not. It's kind of like a true or false test to see if it works. But to do that, we have to think about when we're comparing numbers. It's real easy to compare positive numbers. You know your positive numbers. You know which numbers are bigger than the other numbers. But when we get into our negative numbers, it gets a little bit confusing sometimes. So to help us out, we need to think in the mindset of a number line. And you need to picture the numbers on the number line. And the numbers that are to the left is less. If a number is to the left on a number line, it is less. So if you look at this number line above the board, and I have 10, okay? I'm comparing 10. 9, is 9 less than or greater than 10? Less than 10. And guess what? It's to the left of 10. If I come over here and I'm comparing negative 14 and negative 16, is negative 16 greater than or less than negative 14?
Less than.
Less than, because it's on the left side of negative 14 on the number line. So I would write this, I would think about this. Left is less. If the number is to the left, it's going to be less. So they want us an example 2 to check to see if these solutions are true or not. Can it work? Okay, and we do that through substitution or replacing the variable with the value. So if I have y minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 6, before I start substituting, I taught you to do something with that variable before we start replacing it with stuff. What are you supposed to do with that variable? I want to replace the variable with a number. I'm going to protect that variable first with parentheses. I'm protecting that space. Okay? Wherever the variable is, you put parentheses around it. Do it. Make sure you did it. Then you can go in and erase and substitute where that variable is. And now you can simplify to see if it's true. You can do negative 2 minus 5, which gives me what? Negative 7. So they're trying to say that negative 7 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Is this true or false?
True. No.
Is negative 7 greater than negative 6? Well, if you think about it on the number line. Here's negative 6. Is negative 7 greater than negative 6?
No.
Well, it's to the left of it, so if it's to the left, it's actually less. So this is not true. Not a solution. It doesn't work. Example B, have negative 5 and 5/10 y less than 14. I'm going to put parentheses around my variable, protecting that space. And then I'm going to go in and replace it or substitute it with the value negative 2. Then I'm going to simplify. Negative 5 and 5/10 times negative 2. I'm going to put that in my calculator. Do not shout it out loud. Put it in your calculator. I should get positive 11. Is that what you got?
Yes.
Okay. So positive 11 is less than 14 is what they're saying.
Yes.
Is 11 less than 14?
Yes.
So is it a solution? Yes, it works. Let's look at number 3 under the try it. They want us to substitute using what? Negative 5. So when I rewrite it, x plus 12 is greater than 7. I'm going to put parentheses around my variable. I'm going to come in and I'm going to substitute. After I substitute, I'm going to simplify. What is negative 5 plus 12? 7. Can 7 be greater than 7? They're equal, so can it be greater? No. So is this a solution? No. Doesn't work. All right, I've got 1 minus 2p. I'm going to put parentheses around the variable. Is less than or equal to negative 9. I'm going to substitute the p with negative 5. And then I'm going to simplify by putting this in my calculator. So put it in your calculator. 1 minus 2 times negative 5. 1 minus 2 times negative 5 gives me 11. Is 11 less than or equal to negative 9? It's 11 to the left of negative 9.
No.
Here's negative 9. Here's 11. Is 11 to the left of negative 9? No, it's not. So, is it less? No. So, is this right? No, it's not a solution. What am I going to do first? I'm going to substitute or replace the n with, then what am I going to do? Simplify by putting it in the calculator. You should be able to put this in your calculator fast. It should not take this long. Negative 5 divided by 2.5 gives you negative 2. Very good. So negative 2 greater than or equal to negative 3. Is negative 2 greater than negative 3?
Yes.
Yes. So it works. Okay? Alright, flip it over. The third thing that we can do, that we talked about last year, is we can graph them. If the number is not a solution, if it's not included, it has an open circle. Y'all remember us graphing open circle, closed circle, left or right? Do you remember doing that? Okay. If it is part of the solution, if it's included in the solution, then it's going to have a closed circle or dot. So saying if it is got the equal to part, then it's included and it's going to be closed. If it doesn't have the equal to part, it's going to be open because it's not included. So if I have the greater than symbol that's being used, it's going to be open and pointed to the right. If it's the less than symbol, it's going to be open and pointed to the left. If it's greater than or equal to, it's going to be closed and pointed to the right. If it's less than or equal to, it's closed and pointed to the left. One thing I taught my kids last year, I don't know if Miss Green taught it to y'all or not, if I have the greater than sign, okay, all I have to do is draw the line and it makes the arrow. If I have the less than sign, if I draw the line, it makes the arrow. Greater than or equal to, draw the line, makes the arrow. Less than or equal to, draw the line, makes the arrow. So you can come and graph these, like here example number 24. If I have the number line and I'm at -9, looking at my symbol for number 24, is it open circle or closed circle?
Close.
Closed. What tells me it's closed?
The line.
What line under it? What direction is it going to point? To the left. Alright, if I have 2.75, is this going to be open or closed? Open, pointed to the right. And then if I have -3.5, open or closed? Closed, pointed to the right. Look at number 27. There's a difference in number 27 and the other three that we just did. What's the difference? The variable's on the other side. We don't want the variable on the other side. So if we're going to swap sides, we also have to swap signs. If you swap the sides, you have to swap the signs. And guys, when you're doing your IXLs tomorrow, I guarantee you're going to forget this. So this is why you need to look back at your notes. This is one you need to pay attention to. We want the variable, and I would write this down, variable first. So we're going to swap the sides. If we swap the sides, we have to swap the signs. So now when I go to graph it, is it open or closed? Open. Pointed to which way?
That way.
To the left. Variable first, pointed to the left. And as you're doing your IXLs tomorrow, you need to look back at your notes to help you with it. Don't just sit there and click random answers until you finally get it. Look in your notes. It will have the answers for you. Use them. Okay?